Hello there, welcome to Blue Harvest Vintage Toys. In today's video I'm going to be doing another in my series of how to collect. And trust me when I say how to collect, I'm not telling you how to collect, I'm instructing you how to collect. I wouldn't in any way tell you how to collect. That is totally up to you. On these how to collect, I'm just telling you about the toy histories, and mostly they come from questions that people ask me. Unlike today's video, I think it's something that you'll be interested in. So today's how to collect is all about the Tri-Logo Star Wars cards. Now I found this article in the Collector's Gazette. I get it every month, the Collector's Gazette. It's a fantastic source for everything toy related in the UK. So I'm just going to read through this article and show you some of the cards that we'll be talking about. So James Orwell looks at some of the unique and interesting variations that can be found on cardback designs on the original Star Wars figure series. The so-called Tri-Logo carded figures were released towards the end of the original Star Wars figure period. The triple logo design was first issued in 1984 to coincide with the release of the second wave of Return of the Jedi figures. This design was then subsequently used for reissuing a number of earlier Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back characters, as well as the last 17 figures released in 1985. A slight difference for the last 17 figures is the card front has a barcode added. The three logos used at the top of the card were English, Spanish and French. It was a useful strategy as it allowed all domestically produced packaging in these countries to be consolidated into one template and a series of production runs, making costs cheaper. It also allowed figures to be shipped all around Europe using one standard design, and by 1986 Tri-Logo figures were in fact also being sold in the US, as a huge number were shipped over from Europe to be sold in discount stores and large chains like KB. The first Tri-Logo cards for Europe were printed in Macau and released initially to the French market. Subsequent print runs from the rest of Europe were made in Hong Kong. What is noticeable about their cards is that they are slightly thinner than the earlier cards from Palitoy and Meccano. The bubbles that secured the figure to the card were also larger and slightly thinner. One bubble size pretty much suited all figures, although a small size was used for the smaller characters Yoda, R2-D2, Ugnaught, etc. And an extra large bubble was used for two characters, Gamorrean Guard and a Man-a-Man. The figures bounced around quite freely inside the bubbles, and the weapons were also loose inside, dispensing with the tape that used to hold the weapons to the inside of the bubble. The thinner cardstock and bubbles, internal movement of the figures, and the fact that by 1985 many of these Star Wars figures were being sold off in bargain bins rather than dedicated retail display stands means that the average condition of your Tri-Logos is somewhat poorer than other card fronts available. That's not to say that mint condition examples cannot be found, of course. Another positive is that the Tri-Logo bubbles have not yellowed over time, like some of the later Return of the Jedi card front bubbles have, as they used a different type of plastic. And the cards themselves often have a nice glossy sheen to them that displays very nicely, and good examples do exist. One of the best things about collecting this type of card is some of the unique character pictures that were used on the card fronts. The cards for Luke Bespin outfit, ATST driver, TIE Fighter pilot, Lobot and Princess Leia Hoth outfit use a photo that can only be found on the Tri-Logo cards. Other characters, whilst using the same basic photo, show it from a wider angle. For example, from Nikto and Klaatu Skiff Guard, you can see nearly the whole body rather than just the waist up. Other cards use some unusual airbrushing to change the design from the traditional kind of cards. For example, Rebel Commando is a brighter green outfit, Attack Driver, chest equipment is airbrushed out, and the IG-88 has even had the whole background greyed out. The Hoth Rebel Commander uses a wider angle shot that actually allows you to see the second soldier. But the Stormtrooper is a closer shot, only showing one trooper compared to the two you are used to seeing on the Kenner card. And some cards such as Lando Calrissian and the Jawa have the standard photo reversed. Kenner had introduced some new backing card photos in the line in the late 1983, early 84, updating the images for some of the longer running Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back characters. Example, Boba Fett, Tatooine scene, and Luke fanboy in the Falcon gunner seat. In nearly every instance, the Tri-Logo cards use this updated image, with the exception of Darth Vader and Leia Bespin outfits, where for some reason they were reverted to the older of the two images on offer. A further difference that is noticeable on the Tri-Logos is that they often use a different colour for the bubble background and nameplate. So whereas you might be used to seeing Han in Endor trench coat in a red background, the Tri-Logo has him in a green background. The Leia Bespin changed from blue background to red on Tri-Logo, a quirky change that gives quite a different dynamic to the card. No figures as such are unique to the Tri-Logo cards, although amongst collecting circles a few characters have a recognised Tri-Logo version, so named because the variation is most commonly found on the Tri-Logo cards. The best known example is the Tri-Logo Boba Fett, the paler blue plastic variant with a darker paint scheme, and no country origin stamp. Other examples including Dengar, who is found with a darker, more metallic purple body armour, and the Rebel Soldier can be found in a darker brown vest. This one mostly coming out of the PBP licensed factory in Spain. Miscarded figures are more common on Tri-Logo cards than any other card type. However, this is less through factory error and more through a need to use up excess figure stocks towards the end of the Star Wars run in 1985. So whilst figures were incorrectly to the card back, and they were as close as they could be managed with some logic in the mismatch, e.g. an outfit mismatch, Han Solo, Star Wars First 12 in a Han Solo Bespin card, a droid mismatch, C-3PO on a Zuckuss card, or an Ewok mismatch, T-Bro on Logray card, to name a few examples. The back of the cards are the same on all Tri-Logos, and the way it is presented is somewhat confusing. It says in multiple languages, collect all 70, shows 70 figures, but numbers them up to 79, missing out numbers 22, 24, 25, 44, etc. It also doesn't show any of the last 17 figures, bar Lumat and Paplu, who are blacked out anyway. Even though the last 17 are available on the card front, Lumat usually is listed only as an Ewok warrior, suggesting he's not yet been named when the Tri-Logo proof cards were designed. Some of the characters not available, such as the Bespin cards and the Cantina aliens, can be found on what collectors refer to as hybrid cards, with regular Return of the Jedi fronts but Tri-Logo backs. As for prices, Tri-Logos cover the full spectrum, really from some of the cheapest on the market to possibly the most expensive of any example. Partly due to condition and the fact that there were so many left at the end of the line, you can pick up examples today for less than £50 if you hunt around and are too condition conscious. Main characters can reach figures of £100 plus and up to £200 or more if in decent condition. Due to rarity, Jawa and Luke Hoth fetch premium prices. Yakface and Boba Fett are at the top of the scale for sure, Yakface pushing a 4-figure price and Boba Fett nearing up to 5,000 plus. But the rarest and most expensive to acquire? That would be the minor Return of the Jedi character, General Maydean. As a Tri-Logo, this character was only produced at the very start of the run in very small numbers and was only available in France, the early made in Macau cards. Should you be able to find one of these at auction, you would easily be looking at a 5-figure price for an average condition example. One sold in the US a few years ago for over $20,000. Tri-Logos for a long time were seen as a poor relation to the Kenner and Palitoy carded figures, but as you can see, there are some real gems in the range for those collectors who love acquiring quirky packaging variations. So there you go, great little article from James Orwell there, and Collector's Gazette, and I just thought you'd be really interested in that. I love reading up about all different aspects of the Star Wars collecting. You find out something new every day. So it's now over to you. Ask me some questions. Leave comments below on what you want to know. Not just about Star Wars, about all collecting. I will try to answer all questions from the very basic to the most complicated. That is why I have this channel. I love talking about toys. I love talking about Star Wars. Everything positive. Collect the way you want. But above all, may the toys be with you. Barbie's Big Family. Malibu Barbie, notwithstanding, Barbie's hometown is a fictitious Willows, Wisconsin. She comes from a large family too. Since 1964, her line has expanded to include 7 siblings: Skipper, twins Todd and Tutu, Stacy, Kelly, Chelsea, and Chrissy.